start with breaking news out of the Capitol here at 6 as we anticipate Governor Dunleavy's State of the State address in about an hour.
And we just got an update on a push to develop a liquefied natural gas pipeline. It has literally been a pipe dream for decades, and it will be part of the governor's speech tonight. Political reporter Will Courtney live in Juneau to update us. Will?
Yeah, John, Augusta, we just learned moments ago from the CEO and founder of Glenfarne, that's one of the major pipeline developers for this proposed LNG pipeline, that they're moving to a building phase. Now, this is a massive development, something that we've even heard from the CEO and founder, Brendan Duval. That's what he told us in a press conference today. Now, what we're still looking to find is FID. Now, what does that mean? It means final investment decision. It officially and formally takes it to that next official stage. That's what we're still waiting for. This is not that. This is not a FID. That is what we were told by the CEO and founder of this pipeline developing company. So final investment is not on the way right now either. It is imminent. That's the word he used. But when I asked him when it's going to come, January is not going to be that time. Now, that's a delay, another delay for this pipeline that continues to have a little bit of stagnation when it comes to what's going to happen. And lawmakers are now asking the question, what's next? So, again, another delay. And what we do know is that a pipeline is going to be laid down by the end of December.
There has been some frustration here in Juneau about when this FID is going to be reached. So how are you able to work with lawmakers when this is, still a massive question for many here in the Capitol?
Yes, I've met with not everyone. I've got another meeting tomorrow, and by tomorrow morning I'll have met with everyone who's wanted to meet with me from the House and the Senate, and we've updated them. I'd say the support from everyone I've spoken to, whether in the minority or the majority, I've found them extremely constructive, helpful, proactive, and positive.
Now, we're still waiting to learn what lawmakers' reaction to this news is going to be. For the last several months, they've been operating somewhat in the dark, wanting to learn more about the fiscal plan that is behind the pipeline. So we'll make sure to update you as we learn more. But again, tonight, 7 o'clock, the State of the State from Governor Mike Dunleavy will be in the halls of the Capitol in just moments from now. John, Augusta.
All right, Will, thanks so much. And we will be live on that State of the State address as well. We'll have the breakdown tonight in the late edition. You can also listen to Alaska's Political Pipeline podcast for a deeper dive on updates from the governor and the continued legislative session. We've got the latest episode available now on our website, mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Alaskans voicing their opinions on recently delivered property tax assessments.
People in Anchorage got those little green property tax assessment cards, and some of them saw an assessment increase of up to 40%. Rebecca Palsha took some of your questions straight to Mayor Susan LaFrance.
This is the first part of the story because a lot also depends on what happens in tonight's State of the State speech from the governor. Now, yesterday we told you about the governor's proposed seasonal sales tax, but what we don't know is what that tax could mean for the towns and the villages of Alaska. Property taxes for all the homes in Anchorage pay for almost everything. The city says overall the average increase in the assessment was 4.3%. The city says 1/3 of properties, 32%, saw valuation decreases, but some properties did see large adjustments. Those green cards, though, those aren't the tax bills. They show an assessment, and that assessment can be challenged. Why would somebody's assessment have gone up 40% over 1 year time period?
It could be due to a construction project, new construction. It could be due to being underassessed. The real estate market, especially in some parts of the municipality, is very, very strong. Or, it's possible that we may need to take a look. We've got some unique properties in the municipality that require additional individual attention too. And so our municipal assessor's office is looking at those properties that have had the largest increases, and we'll have more information as we move through this process.
One thing is that people are sending us your address showing that the assessment didn't go up. Why is that? Or what would you say to people who are like, well, look
about
at this?
My assessment? Yeah, I was surprised by my own green card. My property has gone mostly up in the last few years, but also down. And again, as people have questions, they should reach out to the municipal assessor's office. And they can do that by calling 907-343-6500.
Now stay with us as we wait for the governor's speech tonight. We'll be updating this story until you have all of your questions answered.
Again, that was all Rebecca Palsha. Thank you for that. And let's transition now as we approach the end of the week. We've been seeing freezing fog in some places, but also sunshine.
Yeah.
And as we continue to look ahead to Friday, what can we expect?
Oh, I know who knows. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us with the forecast. Melissa.
Yes, John and Augusta, that fog, it does surprisingly create a lot of slickness, a lot of ice on those roads. So do be mindful of that. That'll be the case through the morning commute again tomorrow morning, both in South Central, but we're also seeing that down in Southeast and the interior as well. But this is the live view from Anchorage right now. Not much fog. It's pretty thin right along the inlet. You can see clear skies above. And even now, well over an hour since the sun has set, you can see quite a bit of daylight still out there this evening. Temperature sitting at 17 degrees. Those will continue to drop through the night. It's already down to 9 below in Fairbanks, where we've seen some patchy fog. Temperatures into Southeast sitting in the mid-20s. Again, we do still have those concerns for freezing fog into Southeast and also some wind and snow pushing into the western side of the state and eventually snow pushing right here into South Central. I will have a closer look at that extended forecast and those snow chances here in a few minutes.
All right, we'll check back in a little bit. Thank you, Melissa. A Wasilla man has been sentenced in federal prison for distributing a deadly drug. It killed a 16-year-old Wasilla teenager last November.
The case marks the first of its kind in Alaska. Our reporter Johnson Kuhn has more.
That's right. 45-year-old Sean Mobley will spend the next 30 years in federal prison after a judge sentenced him today in Anchorage federal court for distributing carfentanil to 16-year-old Alina Tonis, leading to her overdose death in 2024. The sentencing comes after both the defense and prosecution jointly recommended the above guideline sentence. Court documents reveal Mobley's actions in the days leading up to Alina's overdose. Prosecutors say on November 14, 2024, Mobley distributed the same substance to another person prior to Alina, who also overdosed but was saved with Narcan. Despite being warned not to continue distributing the drug again due to the severity of the first overdose, Mobley continued selling. That same evening, he met Alina at a gas station and drove her to a remote location where she fatally overdosed. Mobley then abandoned her body on a remote ATV trail in Wasilla. Federal prosecutors described carfentanil as a powerful veterinary sedative. It's roughly 100 times more potent than fentanyl and 10,000 times stronger than morphine. Alina's family was in court today, saying while they were pleased to see Mobley receive the above guideline sentence, they ultimately were hoping for more.
I just don't think 30 years could ever replace a life, and that's what I think. But I am grateful that everyone pushed for the maximum sentence. I actually really respect the judge for that.
I know that the community and the outpour that we got, everybody felt like he deserved a lot more than 30 years, so we were hoping for life.
Judge Burgess acknowledged the gravity of the case, highlighting how Mobley not only supplied the deadly drug, but abandoned Alina's body while she was overdosing and continued distributing narcotics that same night. The judge stated he hoped Mobley would remember Alina every time he closes his eyes for the rest of his life. Mobley will also face state charges with sentencing set for February 5th. Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
Johnson, thanks so much for your reporting on that. And continuing our coverage, police in Fairbanks are still trying to pinpoint a motive after a 29-year-old man admitted he shot his grandmother in the head earlier this week.
Brian Davenport was arraigned in front of a Fairbanks judge on Wednesday. He allegedly shot his grandmother as she sat in her wheelchair in her home. Davenport claims that his grandma wanted to go peacefully as she battled cancer. He also admitted to stealing his grandfather's gun, saying he intended to kill someone else before shooting his grandmother. Davenport had no prior convictions. Officials say they're looking into the possibility of mental health issues. Davenport's bail set at $5 million.
More than a month after two men vanished while traveling by boat near Sitka, new criminal charges were filed, possibly detailing what happened after those men disappeared.
Charging documents accuse a woman identified as Stephanie Tutu of entering the two men's float house days after they were reported missing and stealing 21 firearms, ammunition, and other property. Here's what one of the missing men had to say about the crimes.
It's not fair. It's not okay. And whoever done this needs to be held accountable.
Investigators say Tutu, the suspect, had traveled to the missing men's float house on December 17th and 19th, paying a boat captain to take her there. Police say the captain was uncomfortable on the first trip and refused to transport the weapons. Tutu allegedly asked a man named Cole Johnson to accompany the captain on December 19th to get the firearms transported.
The firearms were recovered in a garage on January 13th. Johnson claims he thought he was doing the families of the missing boaters a favor. Tutu has been charged with 1 count first-degree burglary, 1 count second-degree theft.